I miss my family. I miss performing. I miss being dry.
Fair, but be sure not to miss episode 325 of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Lights are dimming! Lights are dimming!
Retro systems online. Reflux capacitor fluxing. Scanning room space-time for Tiny Toon Adventures. How I Spent My Vacation. 1992. Rewinding in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, Rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I'm your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your excellent mind, Paul. There's so many words I could say. Multipirates.com powers.
Hot dang! I'm gonna get me some education.
Also, for this discussion of the video straight to video film Tiny Toons Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation, we welcome back aboard Administration Officer of the pod, Ashley Ruiz. Hey, Ashley.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Of course. And also, along with Ashley, we're glad to have back aboard Archives Officer of the pod, Drew Dodgen. Hey, Drew.
Francisco, go down the hole.
No, I don't. And finally, we are happy to be joined by Escape Pod Systems shipman, Jacob Heron. Hey, Jacob.
What's up, people?
What's up?
What's up?
And now that you have a quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for Tiny Toon Adventures?
Yeah. Tiny Toon Spring Break was released March 27th, 1994. It is rated TVY. It runs about 45 minutes and is directed by Rich Ahrens, Michael Gerard, and David Marshall, and written by Peter Hastings, Nicholas Hollander, and Tom Ruger, with lead stars being Tress MacNeille, John Cassir, and Joe Alaska. What?
What was the title? What details are you giving me right now?
Tiny Toon Spring Break.
Okay, we're talking about it's How I Spent My Vacation.
Spring Break. What? Your what?
My vacation.
Oh,
That could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
you had me go through all that. All right. Tiny Toon Adventures. How I Spent My Insert Summer Here Vacation.
Exactly, yes.
Was released March 11th, 1992. Runs an hour and 19 minutes and is not rated. It was directed by Rich Ahrens, Ken Boyer, Kent Butterworth. Yes, that's his name. Written by Paul Dini, Nicholas Hollander, and Tom Ruger, with lead stars being Charlie Adler, Tress MacNeille, Joe Alaska, and some others you may or may not recognize, like Jonathan Winters and Edie McClurg. Do you know who Edie McClurg is, Francisco?
Oh, yeah. That's the voice of...
Yeah, you might recognize this.
They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so she's Hampton's mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
Cool. The music was composed by Stephen Bramson, Bruce Broughton, Don Davis.
Not Dave Don Davis, just Don Davis.
Oh, you mean the composer of the Matrix films, Don Davis?
That Don Davis.
Wow. Albert Lloyd Olson also helped out, along with Richard Stone, Stephen James Taylor, and Mark Waters. Are you ready for the box office trivia?
I'm ready. I imagine you guys are ready, and anyone in chat on the YouTuber Rumbles is welcome to join in too. Go for it, Paul.
Okay, Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation, was sadly not released theatrically. So in lieu of that, we're going to have a different number guessing game.
Oh, okay.
This was released in March of 1992. And Happy World Land, where the fun doesn't stop at only $80 a pop, was a highly exaggerated lyric to poke fun at the extravagant cost of theme park tickets at the time of 1992.
Oh, how little has changed.
Compared to $80 a pop, what was the price of a ticket to Disney World in March of 1992?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So round to the nearest dollar. And by the way, as you're thinking about that, I'll talk to the
This for a single
theme park
trip?
aficionados at the time. Yes, there were only 3 parks in Disney World, and the same cost for one of those parks was the same for each one of those parks. And the only park hopper they had was if you did all 4 days, if you did a 4-day thing. So since the pigs didn't stay for all 4 days, we'll just do the price of one ticket for one day.
Okay.
For one park.
So I imagine the minimum is $1. Can we go like 500? Is that like maybe the max?
Well, since 80 is an exaggerated high number, I would say 1 to 79.
Okay. Let's start with Ashley. What is your guess, Ashley?
We're going to go with good old 38 because I have no idea. I'm just guessing.
38?
My family, we went to Disney mucho times in the early 90s. My dad would know, but sadly I do not.
Okay. 38. Drew, what's your guess?
$49.99.
Okay.
Rounding to the nearest dollar.
All right, $50.
I'm using a pen, guys, not a pencil. Jacob?
Oh, probably. I'll probably go with like a good 40.
40, okay. As opposed to a bad 40. So Bobo in chat guesses $4. All right, that's something. I'm gonna guess $75.
All right.
So Paul, where did it end up?
In March of 92, the price was $33, and in June it ran up to $34. So if you were there for vacation,
what? For one park?
Yes.
Isn't it like $300 per person now?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
See, for those listening, we recorded this in the year 2025. So just for the Magic Kingdom ticket alone, one park, it ranges between $164 and $189, depending on if it's a high time to go, like the weekend or not.
It's nuts.
I thought $80 was low. So wow.
It is. Yeah.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
That's the cost of inflation and greed for you.
All
There
right.
you go.
But given that, I believe that makes Ashley the winner at 38. So
You're
well
right.
done,
Good job,
Ashley.
Yay, confidence.
around.
Do you say competence?
I said confidence.
Oh, okay. I mean, you are competent, but let's move on. Thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind melt or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we'll get into once Alice has located our target film.
Alert. Alert. Target located. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
Friday on the Hub Family Movie.
Ah, vacation.
There are many ways to spend the summer.
My folks are taking me to Happy World Land.
Getting tan, surfing waves, going on a road trip, seeing fireworks, forced into a marriage with an alligator, standing naked by a dumpster, saved by Superman, smashed by a steamboat, and looks like the gang of Tiny Toons is doing it all.
I'll send you a postcard.
And more.
I'm gonna go on every ride till I barf twice.
The Hub Family Movie. Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation. Friday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Only on The Hub.
Yes.
It's not only on the Hub. I still have it on VHS.
Well, okay, but you could probably have watched it on the Hub.
I watched it on YouTube.
I rented it.
All right. So apparently we have lots of ways we remember experiencing this movie. And let's see if any of them made a memory for us that went into our memory mind melt synopsis for Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation. Okay. So, school is out. Babs and Buster Bunny, no relation, have a giant water fight that leaves them stuck in Louisiana. Plucky joins Hampton's family for their road trip to heck to not Disney World. Elmira terrorizes a drive-through safari while the box look way in, and a plot hole brings everyone back to start school when summer ends. I mean, pretty much, I think that was all actually. Well, no, I don't think it was Louisiana. Did they actually say Louisiana at all?
It was Cajun country.
Yeah, they didn't say. So that was clearly decepted. But, based on those memories, as flawed as they were, what reign did they lead you to predict for this film before you rewatched it? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? I'm going to start with Ashley again. What was your prediction, Ashley?
It was nostalgic.
Nostalgic. And then Drew, how about you? Oh, and actually, I'm sorry. And this goes for all of you. When do you remember seeing this, your first time seeing this?
I remember us renting this from a local video store.
Mm-hmm.
They might have eventually aired it on like Nickelodeon or Fox Kids or whatever the local affiliate was that aired Tiny Toons.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember us getting it from the local video store at some point. If it came out in March of 1992, that was the year that I turned 6. I would have probably been about 5 when I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember bits and pieces. But yeah, I remember thinking, hey, if you like Tiny Toons, it'll probably be good.
Okay.
So nostalgic because clearly I haven't seen it since watching it for now.
Fair. Drew, how about you?
I assumed it was going to be nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I watched this film, it was split between 4 episodes of Tiny Toon Adventures that aired on Fox Kids in the middle of the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they did edit it into 4 episodes of Tiny Toon Adventures.
Oh,
That's right.
That's one way to go. Jacob, how about you?
I would go nostalgic, and same way with Drew. I probably watched it on Fox Kids at some point, and I would have been. This was 92.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably been about 9 years old.
Okay.
I'd have been 7.
Okay. Suede Knight / Bobo in chat, it has a prediction of NA. Thanks for that, Bobo. Because he watched it for the first time last night. First time I watched was last night on VHS. Very good, Bobo. Paul, how about you?
Oh, you guys don't even know my history with this. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Because when this came out, when this came out in 1992, we got it on video, watched it a few times way before it ever aired on TV because we liked it, my brother and I, several times. This is the video that I would experiment with. Like the first time recording off of my computer, I'd plug in my auxiliary mic and hold it up to the TV speaker, and I would record sounds off of this clip or clips off of this movie. Like when I first got my iPod, it was an iPod video. One of the first videos that I transferred over was this movie, and Magical Maestro, a short that we reviewed on the Cellcast. I every time there's like something, like I wonder how this looks upscaled, and I want something long, I'm gonna throw in Tiny Toons, How I Spent My Vacation, to see, and I have since watched. I literally countless times for me. I mean, God knows how many times I've seen this movie. So I predicted classic. Funny enough.
All right. For me, I first saw this movie. Did we watch it last night, Ashley?
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Sunday
So
night.
a couple days ago, I may have caught bits and pieces on TV because there was like one gag at the end. I don't remember what it was now that I recalled that seemed familiar, but I had no interest to see this movie. I'm on the totally opposite end of Paul. I predicted tragic. I remember liking Tiny Toons okay. It was fun as a kid, but I don't really watch it anymore and have no desire to watch it. I remember the SNES game being dumb, so
the original Nintendo game was pretty fun.
Okay, I mean that's great. I just remember
that game.
The SNES game
fun.
We had was just like
PlayStation game was not.
The Game Boy games. There were 3 of them. They were great.
Oh yeah, those were good too. Yeah.
Anyway, tragic prediction for me, but it'll be interesting to see if those predictions pan out. But first, let's get into things we liked most about Tiny Toons. How I Spent My Vacation. Alice?
Best bits.
And I like using my eyes just fine, Suede Knight / Bobo. All right, let's begin with our guests. As we like to, for the things we liked, the best bits of Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation, which I'll probably just say Tiny Toons Vacation from now on. Ashley, what's one thing you liked?
Oh, gosh. One thing I really liked was Byron Bassett, this silly little derpy dog that was just going, woof. just so lazy, just kind of a little blob most of the time. But I just thought he was such a fun little companion for Babs and Buster's leg of the journey. And when he would actually have to do something, it was super fun. I love that they gave him enough attention, especially when they were going over that waterfall. They get saved by Superman and then they're like, fine. And they send him off on his way. And then Byron gets like an alternative kind of almost version of the Superman theme when he goes and he rescues them. And it's just so sweet and so silly. And I just love that he's present, especially considering in the main Tiny Toons, like, lore, he's not really that big of a character. So the fact that you get this side character who's present with the main characters throughout the entirety of the film, it just makes it more fun because he's adorable and he's just another dog voiced by Frank Welker.
Of course.
Fun fact, this was his first appearance. He did appear a few other times in a few other episodes in Tiny Toons after this, but yeah.
Well, he took the cake for me. He was just so delightful because I love a lazy dog.
Let's go to a not so lazy Drew. What's your first like for this film?
I love that Buster gets married to these alligator girls.
Oh my god,
these gatorettes. That entire scene was funny to me.
Oh wow!
After he had made fun of Babs so much, and then he gets stuck in the situation. She has to save him, and she just lets him stew for a long time. And then the whole thing with the fireworks around the gazebo was funny.
Yep.
I'll say this: if a whole nother aspect, a whole nother storyline of this film wasn't present, that'd probably be my first dislike. Was that scene? But
so it's your second dislike.
No, I just thought that was one of the funnier scenes in the film.
Okay, so, I thought they were funnier, but that's totally fair. Totally fair.
You know what? I enjoyed it.
All right. Well, Paul, what else did you enjoy?
The Cellcast, the members of the Cellcast might appreciate this, but as an animation aficionado, I appreciated the animation quality in this video, especially the first half. All the characters were drawn on model. It was a little bit step up of the quality we usually see in TV. That's until we get to Elmira and the jungle. Then they start using a lot more exaggerated expressions and a lot of squash and stretch that don't actually conform to the same volume as the character, and it gets kind of sloppy from thereafter. But up until then, the quality of the animation of staying on model, where the character basically looks the same no matter what angle you're looking at it from. And like when it does quick moves, it still retains its shape. It doesn't go into this long stretch thing that's typical, that saves money in TV animation for time and stuff.
Sure.
So
yeah,
I appreciated that.
Nice. Jacob, as someone who draws very regularly, was the animation something that you enjoyed, or is it something else that made you like this?
Well, I'm going to follow up with Paul. So I'd be like, I enjoy the animation in this film. It is very classic from the early 90s. I do. The brilliance in the animation comes out, just shines brilliantly to me, is like when the Hampton's family stops to the restroom and Plucky's in the car and he sees the water fountain, and how the animation, the camera zooms into the car. Like pulling the audience into Plucky and his desperation for the water, and like the gag where he is so dehydrated, the car is so just saturated. The pull is so incredibly well done. I enjoyed the mess out of that. Like you said, Paul, the first half of this film, the animation is just spot on.
Right.
I love it. It's got just great, clear, again, you go to Elvira, her scenes be like, you just want to be like, one of these cats eat her, please.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. Anyway, so that's my yes.
Okay, nice. That leaves something I like that's similar to the animation, similar to not so much the character animation, but maybe more of the direction. I felt like a lot of the transitions between stories were done really well. Other ones were lazy. I will say that. But there were some that I'm like, oh, wow, that's a really, really neat way of going from one one storyline to another. So I did like a lot of the transitions they had.
I'll jump on top of that because that's my second is those. I felt the story was evenly paced between the multiple stories that were going on, and then the transitions. I thought at first they were really creative. Then they got lazy, like flashing up to the sun and then back. But like when the animals are driving out of the jungle in the car, they run into the pigs go into Happy World Land. Like how they interact, I thought was great.
All right.
Brilliant transitions in some ways. Like you said, Paul, like the ladder, like they're really brilliant. It's thinking outside the box. And then others, it's more like, oh, okay, you're just being lazy with that one. And plus, be like, it's understandable you want to save money and be like, obviously they had a limited budget. So you have to cut corners where you can. And where they use their money, they use it very effectively. So yeah,
absolutely.
I agree.
I'm going to transition back to Ashley. What's something else you liked, Ashley?
Something I really enjoyed about this movie was just how many cameos we saw from characters within the Tiny Toons universe and even other WB characters. What was really cool is you saw Ralph the Guard from Animaniacs. He was on screen for a tidbit.
Oh, really?
All of the various celebrities that we saw when they were at the studio. You saw Jay Leno hauling his chin on a flatbed, and you had Oprah and Roseanne Barr and David Letterman and Johnny Carson and even Superman himself. But it was so cool to see how they had all of these 90s figures, Arsenio Hall, just show up. And it was just so incredibly fun. And I loved Superman, even though I'm not a huge fan of Superman. It was cool to see him and just see how they used all of these different characters and even people from the larger Looney Tunes universe. But when I saw Ralph the Guard, I'm like, wow,
that's cool.
This was pre-Animaniacs,
which makes it an even.
We're having some fun now.
Even deeper cut, because recognizing that, because I watched more Animaniacs than I did Tiny Toons, but recognizing, oh wow, that's Ralph the Guard. But I loved how they used those cameos effectively. It was just really fun to see, hey, do I remember who this is? And I imagine if a kid today were to watch it, be like, who is that person? Who is that person? Who is that person? But I feel like it was just so well timed for the era in which it was released.
Yeah.
Definitely in 90s. Yeah.
And that's my second too. I don't have much more to say other than I really liked all the seeing these celebrity characters as caricatures of themselves. And I imagine none of them did their actual voices. They all sound like sound alikes, but it's still cool. Seeing how, and this is something you saw in Animaniacs as well, just whenever they would have a celebrity, how they chose to accentuate their features so you know who it is, but it's a cartoon version. That was always a fun thing.
A callback from the early Bugs Bunny shorts and such where they would meet celebrities.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I did
This has been a thing all throughout Warner Brothers.
There weren't celebrities before the 90s.
Yes, there were, but they've always, to their craft, they've always done it pretty well. Yeah. They want you to know
watching Muppet movies.
Yeah, they want you to know who they're gently making fun of.
Yes.
Let's go to Drew next. What was fun for you about this film?
I can't tell you why, but there was one line said during the Elmira's trip to the drive-through safari.
Oh God!
Yes.
When the announcer is saying, please stay in the car.
Yeah, the Dr. Otto scratch.
It's just as she's rolling down the windows. And I'm now going to say this so nobody sues Warner Brothers if somebody actually do this. Don't get out of the car. I don't know why that line, to me, that's the funniest line in the whole movie.
Okay.
For some reason, I just find it funny. And that's my second like. It's I just, that and the fact that the skunk hunk gets captured by Elmira at the end.
Oh, that is so well paid off there. Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
I'll say some
go ahead. What this arcs to me when it comes to like cinema is a movie that will come out a year later, which would be Jurassic Park. You have that entire scene where the automations be like, yeah, do not get out of the car, and the entire cast gets out of the moving vehicles.
Yeah.
I just just brilliant. I'd be like, that's when I saw that instantly, it's that scene in that fantastic movie.
I'm trying to remember. I think that's during the boring half, so I'm not quite sure.
That's during the part you don't like, Francis.
Slow and boring.
Exactly. Jacob, though, go ahead and not speaking of Jurassic Park, but Tiny Toons Vacation. What's one more thing you liked before we get to our classic makers?
Oh, let's see. The part that made me kind of laugh and made me chuckle. This is a funny film altogether. With the literal plot hole gag.
Yes.
That was pretty good. Lazy writers.
They had to figure out some way to get the characters back to Looney University or whatever. But it was
they were stuck in Louisiana.
They had no way
never
to
said Louisiana.
And it was just so brilliant. It's like, okay, let's literally just bring the plot hole into the story and drag our characters back into our main plot. Which is like, oh yeah, that's genius.
Yes,
I feel like the level of sophistication when it comes to the writing, when it comes to those kind of situations and characters. Because most of them, when you get in movies and be like characters or whatever, be like, and this just literally takes the cartoon logic, pulls our characters out of what they're doing and into the main plot, which I thought was genius. So yeah.
So for those of you listening, whether you like this movie or not, or haven't seen it, but of all the TV shows and all the movies you will ever see, this Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation, uses the plot hole device the best.
I can't disagree with that. I cannot disagree with that.
Well, they are cartoon characters.
Right.
Yep. They should be able to use that.
It's cartoon logic. Literally, you can do anything with it.
Yes.
Yep.
And they use it brilliantly.
Yeah.
Yep.
What I think was one of the most brilliant things about Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation, was a classic maker, which would just be the adventure. I mean, this is called Tiny Toons Adventures, and I really thought the adventure that Babs and Buster go on throughout was fun. I did love how Buster set up at the beginning when he keeps squirting Babs. I do this throughout the whole thing, guys. It's like, and he does. He pays it off. He does it over and over again. So I really appreciated just their dynamic. And theirs was probably one of the ones I always liked from the show whenever I did watch it. Just seeing those two characters on screen.
What? It's all about Plucky Duck. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Babs and Buster, I really liked.
You were one of those kids that wrote in and said, "I want to watch more Babs and Buster cartoons."
Like, I would take time to write it.
You would have.
But I really appreciate their adventure. Other than the bigamy. No, it's bigamy. The whole alligator thing. I loved them on the not the pinwheel.
The Delta Burke.
The Delta Burke. That was fun.
On the good ship, Delta Burke.
Yeah. Them with the possums, I thought was fun. Just so everything that we experienced through their eyes, I really enjoyed. So that is my classic maker. Let's go to Jacob next. What was your classic maker?
My classic maker, there again, be like, this is kind of like a background for me and my wife, my Ashley. So we actually started dating over true crime because we started talking about true crime and how much we both loved and enjoyed true crime. I know it's weird. It's weird. Even to this day, we will start talking about true crime. And so the scene that got me the most was like, so that when they bring in the maniac killer or whatever he is with the ball cap.
Mr. Hitcher.
The chainsaw and the hockey mask and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, you actually pulled over for a guy who looks sinister. Be like, he could have been Ted Bundy of all people.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, poor her, oh, duck. And I was like, oh my gosh, hysterical. I loved it. I loved every second they had with this mad serial killer or whatever he was. This mad maniac. This is what it was, mad maniac.
Yeah.
And it was just so brilliantly done because I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll be like, as a kid, I was like, okay, that's scary. Yeah. But as an adult, it's like, oh my gosh, that is so freaking humorous.
And then the callback at the end, where the heck is Plucky?
It's Plucky.
Oh my word. All right. That's very different from what I would have thought as a classic maker, Jacob, but that's why I love getting everyone's opinions. And I want to go to Ashley's next. What is your classic maker for this film?
Oh, gosh. So people have mentioned all of these things that allude to something else.
Mm-hmm.
My classic maker for the entirety of this movie was all of the allusions, all of the references that it makes not only to popular culture at the time, but all of the different movies and television that it references. I love that they make fun of THX and they call it Thud, and they say the audience is now deaf.
Yeah,
I love
really
all of the homages to different cinema tropes, that you've got this road trip that's basically an allusion to National Lampoon's Vacation. Buster and Babs, their trip to the Deep South is straight out of Deliverance. You've got the minecart trope at the very end where they're being chased by Mr. Hitcher. That's straight out of Temple of Doom. You've got... You've got the like skunkophobia, which is like straight out of arachnophobia. You've got an allusion to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the immature radioactive samurai slugs. There's just all of these great allusions to all of these different media properties. And I love to see it. I thought it was fantastic. That was, and then Delta Burke being a ship when she's an actress on Designing Women. I just thought it was fantastic. All the different things that they alluded to.
Awesome. Very, very cool.
Going through the mine cart all of a sudden.
Oh, so weasel.
I thought that was in the car.
Yeah,
It
there's
is in the
several
car.
points in throughout the movie. It's called a running gag where the car comes in and he's humming that. And even in the mine cart where it's all dark, and then you see the light coming through. And it transitions to them. Yes.
Oh, I don't remember that. Okay.
It's one of those brilliant transitions they do.
Let's go to Drew next. Bring some brilliance to this conversation with your classic maker.
My classic maker is Plucky's entire journey with Hampton's weird family.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I'm sorry. I think I'm going to have to kick you off the show. Where's the eject button?
This whole scene.
Thank you, Paul.
I'm still here.
Uh-oh. He knows how it works.
Dang it.
Ejector button. Come on, work.
To quote a character from Star Wars, I'm too fat.
Who says that in Star Wars?
One of the pilots. He's not really saying that, but it sounds like it.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway,
okay, continue, please.
Maybe
that entire bit with of them going to Happy World Land and it being the road trip from Hades.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're not kidding.
I mean, no matter what, Plucky is in like the worst shape possible. He's stuck sitting next to Uncle Stinky.
Oh.
They go to drive-ins and eat their pack-in lunches while ordering water.
Yep.
They have
pay for it, though.
Sanitize the off the road bathrooms, which I fully understand.
Oh, I
just
don't.
Usually don't.
I mean, they need to be sterilized, but for me to sterilize it, no.
And then, of course, like Jacob said, the whole bit with the hitchhiker is hysterical. The moment when Hampton is about to throw up on top Plucky's number one of radioactive of the comic book, and I'm like, Plucky, pick that up! Pick that comic book up! You are going to regret handing that. You kept it in a sleeve. You slabbed that thing. Get it off the floor of the car.
Yep.
Oh my gosh!
And you love it
to get to Happy World Land, and all they do is ride the monorail,
right?
And then get back in the car and go home. That's like
skates.
Oh,
this is your classic maker, really?
Lucky's torture at the hands because he had to go to Happy World Land with Hampton.
It was
and
his own demise
and his horrible family. I was not say horrible family; they're a nice family.
Yeah, they are.
But they are a very weird family, and you think.
And then he can't leave because when it's over, it's not over. They have to watch. They have to relive it all.
Gotta look at all the
slideshows.
Which I'm sitting there going, how did you have that develop so fast? This is the 90s.
Yeah. It'd take a week at least.
But still, it was, I don't know. That, to me, that should have been the core story of the whole thing, in my opinion. Yeah. But yeah.
Aren't you glad it wasn't Francis?
Yes! Trip with Hampton.
More on that later.
Paul,
All right, move it, big butt, coming through.
All right.
Thank you, Drew. Let's end the like section with Paul's Classic Maker. What is it, Paul?
Yes. All right. So for me, it's basically what Ashley said. There's so many gags in here, not only physical comedy gags in different situations, but also some of the jokes and some of the writing. Not all of it, but some are very clever. Like Buster at one point says, as Ben Franklin said, "Let's bolt." So it's
like
writing.
lightning bolt.
Yes.
I didn't get that at first. I'm like, bolt.
There's a lot of there's a lot of cleverly written gags that that's for me the best thing about this.
Yes.
Is all the fun adventures and the gags and everything, the joke through it.
Awesome. Okay. Then awesome, guys. Well, those are the things we liked. There's probably things we didn't like so much. But wait,
I think you might have forgot something.
I did forget something, guys. That would be Geek Devotions. Geek Devotions is a collaboration of devoted geeks that are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. They produce a weekly geek culture infused devotional, their podcast Com Talk, and written articles, all designed to encourage and challenge people in the geek community, bridging the gap between their faith and their geekdoms. Find all their content at geekdevotions.com.
That's great, Francisco. But what does Geek Devotions have to do with Tiny Toons' How I Spent My Vacation?
They go on vacation sometimes. Dallas and Celeste of Geek Devotions.
So alert.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So okay,
Elmira's an animal geek.
There isn't.
But what
really...
does that have to do with the movie?
Okay, there isn't really much that has to do with it, Paul. You caught me red-handed. How about some trivia to make up for it, Paul?
Sure. About this movie, yes.
Yes, about this movie. So did you all realize about Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation, that this film marks the first time the Roadrunner gets run over, and very fitting by that mail service coyote.
Yep.
With that in mind, what Looney Tune, Tiny Toon, or Animaniac do you wish would get their comeuppance of some kind? Or if you can't think of that, who's your least favorite of all the least favorite characters in any of those? Not all, not one of each, just your least in all of them. Let's begin with Paul.
So probably one of my least favorite characters is from Tiny Toons, and that is the character of Sweetie. Luckily, she's not used that often, but for me, when she's on.
Who is that?
Sweetie. It's
the pink
female,
bird.
the female version of
barely
Sweetie.
In the film.
She has pink feathers, and if you're a Tiny Toons fan, you know more about it. And when she's on, she's half the time obnoxiously loud. She's not sweet. I like Tweety better. For me, like the less they use of her, the better.
Don't wreck your brain over it. She was barely in the film.
She was in like one.
It's okay, Francisco. I know you're not
in a transition for 2 seconds.
Is she the one that looks like a kiwi?
She is a pink
a dodo.
The kiwi is going to be dodo.
That's right. Dodo's not even in this movie.
Go the dodo. Yeah, he is. He's in the
barely.
Talk.
Oh yeah, barely in.
He has way more screen time than Sweetie in that.
Okay, well, fine. It doesn't matter. Okay, so Sweetie, you don't like that she was in this? Oh no,
she is my. Okay, let's go back to your question. What is my
character you'd like to get comeuppance?
Right, or the least favorite. So she is one of my least favorite characters.
Got it. Okay, let's go to Ashley next.
Elmira, she should have been run over by that mail carrier truck.
Right.
I've never been a fan. Even goes back to to one of the video games where she is literally chasing after you, trying to get you, and you're just trying to avoid her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh my gosh, why?
Yeah. I hate her so. There's one I hate more, but
it was a good idea to team her up with Pinky and the Brain later.
No,
but
it was a waste of animation. And a waste of an animation studio and a waste of a time slot. No.
Oh, there you go.
You're making one entity worse by adding her in. Everything that has her makes it effectively worse.
I just realized they didn't have Montana Max in this at all.
He
did they?
He's at the beginning.
Yeah,
for
he
like
was
a
in the
second.
beginning. He was like he was in there, but he didn't have any lines.
But he was not utilized.
No, he was not.
All right. So we have Sweetie Bird. We have Elvira. Yeah, her too. Suede Knight, Bobo agrees with you, Elmira. And then let's go to Jacob next.
Elmira, very easily. Elmira, yeah.
She's the worst.
This little girl, because there was a meme that was in one of the chats before we started.
Mm-hmm.
I think Drew sent it. It was literally, I think it was Dizzy, like his hand was around her head. I was like, dude, do us a favor and bite down.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh, that little girl, oh my gosh, please. Just, drove me nuts as a kid. I was like, get off the scene. You're ruining everything.
Yep.
So yeah, Elmira, I'm more of the, oh my gosh, like I like before the show, be like, I did a little drawing that could have been, that was a potential idea for the cover art, and it was literally the Chainsaw Massacre dude about to take Elmira out. I was like, yes, bring the pain, bring the pain. All my childhood trauma, come to an end.
Well deserved.
Wow.
She earned it for sure.
My. How about you, Drew?
Let's make it 3 for 3. Elmira Dove should have been eaten by all those animals.
Yes.
Thank you. I hate this girl. He is a pox on Elmer Fudd's legacy.
I love Elmer Fudd. I can't stand her.
And the biggest problem is that she's an annoying brat.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. She whines every 5 seconds. The only reason I like that she gets the skunk hunk at the end is because he is almost more annoying in this film than she is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hey, babe, will you hold all these things for me? Oh. Yeah.
I am pretty unbelievable.
Exactly. I am.
Unbelievably annoying.
Can go get attacked by a chainsaw.
Yeah.
But why would you do that, babe?
So what about you, Francisco?
Yeah, you got Elmira's a very close second, but you guys are missing the worst two. I mean, they count as one, but there's two characters that are the worst of any of these franchises, IPs, where it's Mindy's parents.
What?
How they are always on buttons because they apparently think that a dog is a good babysitter. Oh my gosh, they should burn in Hades.
I love you, lady.
In the dog's defense,
the dog's great.
The dog is
poor
a
dog
babysitter that baby could have.
I don't care.
He saved her life countless times.
Exactly, and he gets punished for it. This is like our narco tyranny on full display in Animaniacs. I hate it so much.
And that is why I am so happy in Wacko's Wish. He finally gets the praise he so rightly has deserved for years.
Oh, I never saw Wacko's Wish. So
yeah, we reviewed it.
Put it on the show. We will be back.
I've seen that too.
So Francisco, would you rather substitute the father for a giant chicken, maybe?
Chicken Boo.
I don't get it.
What's the matter with you?
Maybe, but I feel like there's a joke there that I'm not getting.
Wear a disguise to look like human, guys.
It's Chicken Boo.
Not a man, you're a chicken boo.
What
go
is
back
this
and watch anime
right now?
Yeah, go back. What about the time he dates Katie Kaboom? That one is interesting.
That's hilarious.
That one is pretty funny.
That's a good one.
What are we talking about right now?
Animaniacs.
You brought it up.
Yeah.
Mindy's parents date a chicken?
No.
Other vignettes.
There is a chicken on the show called Chicken Boo who pretends to be other characters. And there's one episode where he pretends to be the football jock that dates Katie Kaboom, who blows up anytime anything goes wrong.
Yep, because she's a ragey teenager.
I vaguely remember this.
It's been so long since I've seen Animaniacs. I don't remember this, but okay.
On. Katie Kaboom, Chicken Boo.
I don't.
And then the Good Feathers.
I remember the Good Feathers. I remember Slappy Squirrel, which I
Good
was
idea,
nibbling.
bad idea.
Good idea, bad idea.
Wheel of Morality, turn. I love the little.
I remember several, but I don't remember this Kaboom chicken person.
Chicken Boo was something.
Okay. Anyway, I'm sure that was some great trivia, right, Paul?
Yeah.
Oh my
great
gosh.
trivia, Francisco. And now that we've all had some trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, the Rad Rewinders, had about Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation.
Alrighty. Wardale White says, I had a good time with it, but it was a movie for the time. I loved watching the series when it came on, so seeing this movie was a great extra.
Jesse Cleva Vidal says, memory unlocked.
Becky Wenzel posted a video of the box look.
The box look is in. Way in. Yeah. David Bobbo Bobke. Just watched this for the first time. Not required viewing. Don't see a rewatch sullying good memories. It was fun and worth a rewatch if you liked it in the past.
And Jeremy Shields says, not a thing. I liked Animaniacs much more than Tiny Toons. Tiny Toons was never quite able to produce the quality of humor of classic Looney Tunes. Agreed. They did have a few memorable bits. This isn't one of them. All right. Well, I mean, maybe there are some things that will agree with Jeremy in his estimation there. So Alice, bring up our worst woes.
Worst woes.
I.e. the things we didn't like about Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation. Let's begin with, I'm going to begin with Drew this time.
That's good. That's good because my first dislike follows directly from what Jeremy Shields says, and that's Tiny Toon Adventures is discount Looney Tunes.
Oh,
I'm gonna, okay.
Paul,
it is still explain yourself, sir.
It is still a good show, but by its very definition of what it is basically Muppet Babies with Looney Tunes.
Paul, have you fixed the eject button yet? Because I want to use it.
Hit the dumb button.
No, I haven't.
Sorry, it's malfunctioning. Jacob, you really need to work on that. That is your part of the ship to fix.
That is true. Where is it?
Continue, Drew.
Here's the thing. I do prefer Animaniacs to Tiny Toons. I think it's much funnier and much more cleverly written. Personally, I did actually watch some Tiny Toons before we came on. That's why I was able to post that picture on our thing, which I like to point out my caption was, oh, look, it's Lilo and Stitch before Disney got a hold of them. Because Elmira thought Disney was a puppy.
No.
Anyway.
No.
It's not that it's bad. It's just like, I can't look at this and go, y'all are just kind of ripping off yourselves in a way. Yes, you're doing it cleverly. Don't get me wrong. It is a nice little...
You don't consider these characters separate?
They are separate, but they are all based on these other characters.
Yeah,
Elmira is basically Elmer Fudd, but as a girl, and instead of wanting to hunt animals, she wants to hug them.
Right.
Montana Max is basically Yosemite Sam.
Right.
Furball is basically Sylvester.
And you don't like that concept?
It's not that it's a bad concept. It's just by its very definition, it's discount Looney Tunes. And honestly, I think that's what holds it back from being as funny as it can be.
So do you think this movie would have been better if it featured the Looney Tune characters cast instead?
I'm not sure, but if we're putting up like my opinions,
yeah,
I feel like what holds this movie back is the fact that to a degree, these are characters based on these other characters. And I think that holds back what they can do. Maybe that's just me. I'll admit this is why I put it at my first dislike, and definitely not a tragic maker.
Okay.
Because it's like, yeah, I have a feeling this is a me thing more than anything else. There.
Okay.
I do feel like, even though I did decide to go ahead and buy the first season and watch it, because it's been 25 years since I've seen the original Tiny Toon show.
And you can't watch it on Max.
That's annoying. But you get right down to it, it just does not make me laugh as much as, say, Looney Tunes or Animaniacs.
Sure.
I agree. Freakazoid, for that matter.
Yeah. Freakazoid's on a whole nother level.
In the brain.
I'm just going to say, personally, I prefer Tiny Toons to Looney Tunes by and far. I don't really care for Looney Tunes all that much, so I think this is much more geared for someone like me. But we're not talking about what things are geared for. We're talking about what we don't like. So I'm going to switch gears, kind of get back into gear. There's the metaphor I want. Ashley, what's something you didn't like about this movie?
I did not appreciate the Elmira storyline at the zoo. I just felt like it was such a waste of time. And even though it was cool to see all the big cats and have them try to plot against her, they failed miserably. And yeah, they got away, but I felt like you could have spent more screen time on other characters that are actually more interesting than Elmira.
Mm-hmm. I'm in the same boat. That was one of my dislikes. I thought the storyline was dumb. She should have just been so dead. So many times she should have just been dead.
So that's true on all Elmira stories. That's one of her superpowers. So to speak.
She somehow survives.
Yep.
So
she's like a cockroach.
That's what makes her more annoying.
Yeah.
Right.
Why she made 3 of our "we hate this character" list.
Yeah,
exactly.
And she would survive the chainsaw guy.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Miraculous way.
Let's see, Jacob. What's one thing you didn't like about?
Okay, there are 3 story beats going on in this story simultaneously. Okay, we have Buster and Babs. We have their story. We have Plucky and his terrible adventure. You have the C plot, which is all the other characters. And I mean, like, obviously they had to rope in try to rope in as many characters as they can. So your C plot is almost pointless because they have the goofy rooster trying to date the telepath,
Foulmouth and Shirley DeLune.
There we go. Those 2 characters be like basically just like the skunk. What's her name?
Fifi La Fume.
Fifi La Fume.
Fifi La Fume. Be like all of that. Be like, it's not, when you're comparing them to the other 2 story beats, they're very weak, and it's more like, okay, we have to tack on these characters. Be like, especially Elvira. Be like, hers is more annoying than anything because I guess she was a fan favorite character or something like that, so she got more story time.
I don't think she had fans outside of the animation department.
Yeah,
possibly.
That's the only reason she possibly came back for Pinky and the Brain.
Which I understand they're trying to fill the story out with more characters because you got to try to utilize your IPs, but at the same time, be like, this C plot goes nowhere. Literally. Literally stops, and literally everything else has to break. Like I said before, blah.
Put your damn gum yakking!
Thank you. But the C plot to me personally doesn't really work. If they would have just kept with the A and B plot or done something different, because it's all these like random little bits that fit, but they don't fit. And so in the long run of the story, they really don't matter because you're not invested in them.
Gotcha.
You're invested in Plucky's terrible adventure. You're invested in the rabbit's adventure. Like, the C plot literally has no point. It's just, we have to use this. We have to pad the runtime of this movie. So it's kind of pointless. I can see where people be like, oh, I love this little bit. Yeah, but it hasn't really affected the major plot of the story.
I'll disagree with you here in a bit, but I want to hear from Paul. What's something that you dislike, Paul?
I'll disagree right now.
Okay.
I enjoyed the Peppered stories. I even enjoyed the Elmira story in there. But what I didn't enjoy is, like I said before, this is where the animation quality starts to really go down in the Elmira. I will give them points for the character design of Elmira in the cheetah suit. That cheetah suit looks fantastic on her.
That is adorable. Yes.
Does.
So
I ate her.
So but,
left me his pajamas.
Yeah, but I was disappointed that the animation quality went down from, I think it's just over half the movie from that point on. So I like the stories, but just disappointed in the animation quality. And
all right, let's go back to Drew. What's another thing you disliked about this film?
I don't like the story of Fifi chasing after the skunk hunk.
Oh, I do.
Granted,
That's fair.
I am not a fan of Pepe Le Pew in general. And
Exactly, because he's a Looney Tune. Fifi La Fume is much better.
Hang on. Pepe ain't. I don't like Pepe Le Pew in general.
Me either. We're in agreement.
But Fifi is like Pepe Le Pew on steroids in a way.
How so? Because Pepe always gets the girl in the end, but Fifi never gets the guy.
That is true.
And maybe that's what I don't like it. There's never an ending to it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't normally like Fifi in general. And this whole thing where with her, even getting disrespected by the guy just makes me mad throughout the whole section.
Oh, so you do like her so that you stick up for her.
I like her. It's the story I really don't like, and I don't like the chasing after the opposite sex in general.
Oh.
But so it's not really Fifi herself. It's just I don't like that whole bit where she's chasing after him and he doesn't care. It just annoys me.
Sure.
And
there's a lot of this.
How it's like the opposite of Pepe Le Pew with his cats.
But a lot of this movie is designed to annoy you. Like your favorite thing is Plucky's adventures, and it's all designed to annoy you.
Yeah.
I didn't say this was my favorite film.
I'm trying to logically figure this out, and maybe that's my problem. I should just let it go.
This is all. This is about as irrational as Francisco not liking Monty Python.
How dare you?
All right.
I just didn't like Fifi chasing after that whole storyline with her chasing after. It just
fair enough.
It annoyed me.
Yeah.
Okay. I get where Drew's going. I may disagree with him, but I do enjoy the climax of that little bit where Fifi would be like she kind of has enough of him and kicks him out of the theater.
Oh, I like that. And when Elmira gets him, that's hilarious.
Okay.
That was the best conclusion to that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just everything leading up to that.
You didn't like the journey. You liked the destination.
I like the destination, but that journey was just like annoying. And spoiler alert: my tragic maker's connected.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's not spoil yet. Jacob, what's something you disliked?
Another thing I dislike. I think we kind of broke into that in our most despised character of Elvira. Elmira. Sorry.
No, Elvira's right too.
I'm butchering her name like no one's business because I'm terrible with names. Elmira. Oh my gosh, this little
Elvira was the mistress of the night back in the day.
You're not helping. Elmira is such an annoyance of a character. Of course, she's supposed to be annoying.
Right.
That's her design.
Right.
But as a child, she drove me up the wall.
Yeah.
I was like, get off the screen. Like, even now as an adult, more, I don't want to be sophisticated and more understanding of everything around the world. No, she's still an annoying little brat and drives me up the wall. And like the poor cats and everybody like has to deal with her. It's just, oh my God. I mean, again, like I said, like worst characters. Like it was literally my childhood trauma of seeing this little girl trying to crush the life out of every character because she wanted kitty. And like, why don't you get chewed by a kitty at least once?
Wouldn't happen.
I know.
She can't learn her lesson, and then they can't keep playing that joke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree. I completely agree. And I think it's just be like a part of me is more my annoyance of the character.
Sure.
And she's supposed to be an annoying character. She's supposed to be the character that just drives everybody up the wall.
Yeah. And she's a major featured character.
Yes, she is. She's a very featured character. And either they had be like that character herself had a fan base and probably still has a fan base. I just was not one of them. Like I never liked the character in any fashion or form. Because there again, we had three out of five people did not like this character. So yeah,
I didn't like it. I didn't like her either. I just dislike something more. I think Elmira is a psyop. I don't think anyone really likes her.
No one does. I guarantee there are fans of this character out there.
Nope, there's not.
In the internet, I guarantee there are.
There's not. I don't. Okay. I don't think that's at all possible.
All right, Elmira Maniacs. You know where to get a hold of this guy.
Yeah.
Yes. Right? Send your angry emails to pauljpowers.com. Speaking of...
And listen to every episode of the Retro Rewind podcast to show how much you hate Roy's opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the rest of us do with his opinion of Monty Python.
Paul, before I bust a vein, what's one thing you disliked?
Okay. And Drew mentioned this before, but it was my number 2 of dislikes. How much people enjoy Elmira. I really did not enjoy back then or now when Plucky in his comic book, he's doing everything, trying to move everything but the comic out of the way. And he just sits there and it's...
No, Hampton, not on the comic!
And it's sitting there at the bottom of the frame the whole time.
Right.
My gosh.
So part of this, again, it's designed to frustrate you. And I know that's part of the getup, but yes, it still frustrates me to this day.
All right. Oh my goodness. Then let's go to Ashley next for her second dislike. What would it be, Ashley?
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of things that people don't like about certain characters and situations that may have happened, but I'm going to go in a completely different direction.
Ooh, okay, good.
Just by saying there were some over-the-top antics that I just could not get on board with. And this was just setting the stage so early on at the beginning of the movie when Buster is starting his water pistol fight with Babs, and how Babs is outside and she's got this backdrop of like this beach, and he changes it to Antarctica, and then somehow there's a freezer and he puts his pistol in it, and then somehow he ends up in Hawaii and like setting off TNT in a volcano, and then creates this massive tidal wave probably hundreds, if not thousands of miles away from Acme Acres.
Killing so many people.
Yeah, killing so many people. And
almost
just
like it's a cartoon.
Oh, I believe me. I know. But this tidal wave, just like takes out everything. But then like throughout the rest of everything, everybody's perfectly fine. It's like it never happened. But they're on this table and they're just like, they're the only victims of this tidal wave flood. And it's just kind of like, really now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
well, it's
now?
kind of like Plucky's comic book. The next scene, it's fine and it's back in its bag.
I know. And it makes me
Well,
crazy.
he does say later on to the guy
slightly
in the hockey mask, how about some slightly moist reading material?
That is true.
Yeah, but it's just too much for me. It's like
over the top.
Yeah,
Way
it's over the top. This big thing happened, and then it's like there's no trace evidence that it ever happened except 2 rabbits and a basset hound are floating downstream on a table. Well, he just kind of rests on his laurels, and she's the one having to do all the hard work as the result of his big attack on her. Yeah.
As someone who has reviewed hundreds of movies and shows and video games on this and have talked about scenes that take you out of the movie as dislikes, I don't know what you're talking about, Ashley.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah. All right. Well, that leaves my second dislike, and it pretty much rolls right into my tragic maker. So buckle up.
Here we go.
First off, why
Everybody
in
hold
the
your breath for the
world?
tunnel.
What was that?
Said everybody hold your breath for the tunnel.
Not happening.
Speaking of,
I wish I was in Happy World then.
Why they're going to Happy World? So why do they have all this igloo and camping equipment, fishing rods, all these things on top of their car? The Hamptons. Why in the world?
That's a joke.
No, that's dumb. That's a dumb thing to have all
That
this
is a way
stuff.
to showing they are packed and on vacation.
They'd survive the flood.
There's no reason for them to have all that stuff.
You know who didn't have trouble at any point in this entire film? The Pig family.
No, they had plenty of trouble, and I'm going to get to that. So
they probably weren't aware of it, though.
Yeah,
they didn't perceive
That's
it
what I
as
mean. They were never in any danger that they were aware of.
Oh,
because
yeah?
they prepared.
Paul, hold on. So Tragic
That
Maker,
they were aware of Francisco. Listen to his whole
this
sentence.
whole A part, this whole A story of the Plucky and Hampton and their family going to Wally World, whatever it is. I hated it so much. It got grosser and grosser. That whole picking up the hitchhiker. Oh, it's okay. He should have sliced and diced all of them and cooked them as bacon.
What a lovely
It was just
young man.
so frustrating that they're doing all these things and they can't let Plucky get water. Now, I totally admit Plucky shouldn't have been like, oh, let me try just get in and go to Wally World on your guys' dime. No, that's fair. That's not cool. But it's just like, I hate this whole part. It just got worse and worse and worse. I can't let him just get a simple drop of water. I hate it. I'm done.
Such rage.
I hate it.
Francisco, are you annoyed at cereal commercials that don't let the rabbit get its cereal? Or Barney?
That's not great either. And don't steal his Lucky Charms either.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
It's always Plucky gets the worst end of everything.
He does.
It's like his OG counterpart.
Yeah, it's just like
always gets the worst end of it.
I hated watching it. So go back, listen to Drew's Classic Maker. All those points are why I hated this so much. So just replay that, but have a hate spin to it, and you have my Tragic Maker.
Mine is tangentially related.
Oh, okay, then go for it.
I was going to say, you alluded to just how it got more and more gross. Well, my Tragic Maker was just the level of gross in this movie that seriously started with the introduction of Uncle Stinky and him having flies all around him, and how Plucky decided to introduce himself to Uncle Stinky, and they shook hands, and there's this disgusting, substance on his hands.
Part where he's finally getting some water, and you realize it's Uncle Stinky.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's so bad, and it just. The substance on his hand, and he can't get rid of it, and it's just disgusting. And then Plucky is basically dehydrated and fantasizing about water, and he couldn't get it. And then he says it's raining and it's showering, and it is literally raining sweat from Uncle Stinky's handkerchief. It is so disgusting. And then when they all decide to hold their breath going through the tunnel, Stinky is the last pig standing, and when he finally releases that breath, it literally kills Plucky.
Yeah.
It takes the color out of him, and then Hampton has to kind of revive him, and just the level of gross. I do not remember it being this gross, but
Did you catch that Uncle Stinky's hazmat suit had stains on it?
Yes, I did. But oh my gosh, every time the level of grossness, it just got amped up, and I was trying to fight back, almost like vomit in the pit of my throat.
So
it was
gross.
so disgusting. And gross toilet humor, all that stuff is plenty in children's media, but I don't remember anything being quite this gross.
And Bobo, Uncle Stinky is not kind of useless if this was the reaction they were going for.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was, but as a 38-year-old woman watching this now, I'm like, did I react this way when I was 5 when I saw it for the first time? Because gag me with a spoon, this was disgusting.
Yeah. And as a 22-year-old man, this is equally as gross. So
Times 2 minus 1.
Anyway, so that's
Francisco denial's not just a river in Egypt.
Where's that eject button, Paul? I'm waiting.
Here's some easy listening music. They should have played this in the car.
Oh, yes.
When they were on the road.
All right. So that is me and Ashley's Tragic Makers. Let's go.
Gross.
So Drew, obviously the Hampton and Plucky plot was your Classic Maker, so it couldn't be that. What did you hate most about this video?
So what I'm observing on this podcast is that we all have different senses of humor.
Yes.
Yeah,
so to show how the sense of humor didn't worked against me, that y'all probably enjoyed, I don't like Foulmouth and Shirley's dates.
Oh, I kind of enjoy them.
It's Foulmouth. I don't like Foulmouth. Foulmouth is my second most hated character in Tiny Toons.
Oh, okay.
And the fact, much like I didn't like, Fifi chasing after Skunk Hunk, Foulmouth chasing after Shirley just annoyed me to no end. It's like, she doesn't want anything to do with you.
Get a hint, guy. Get a hint.
It's not no. It's no right now.
There in the theater with him is, I wanted to kick that guy in the face when he wouldn't shut up in the movie. I get that that's the joke, but it annoys me to no end, in the same way that the disgusting humor annoyed Ashley. It annoyed me more than I found it funny. And that's why it's my Tragic Maker, because I just wanted to walk into that screen, go right up to that stupid chicken and wring his neck.
That's interesting, because Foulmouth might be my favorite Tiny Toons character.
Wow, okay. Let me put it this way. Before we went and reviewed this back in August, I forgot this character existed.
I forgot it existed until I watched this.
I turned it on back, getting ready to restart the Cellcast, and I'm watching this stupid chicken going, oh my word, this is what we decided to come back on?
They can't all be chicken.
We couldn't have come back on like something that we would both. Anyway, Foulmouth and Shirley. Shirley is fine for the most part because she's just having she's just trying to get through the summer and make a little bit of money and having to deal with this stupid idiot. But Foulmouth needs to calm down.
Fair. And I'm very curious. Bobo sounds like he either really agrees with you, Drew, or disagrees with you, Drew, or disagrees with Paul. I'm very curious which. But Foulmouth's your tragic maker. Jacob, what was your tragic maker for Tiny Toons?
My tragic maker of this film goes down to logic. Goes on the logic of this film. Now, Grant, hear me out. Now, hear me out. We understand. We all have a general understanding. This is cartoon logic.
Right.
This is how, time displacement works or whatever.
Right.
So we have Plucky's terrible, horrible adventure to,
you hear that, Drew? Terrible, horrible.
Yeah.
Wacky World
Happy
Land.
World Land.
Happy World Land.
Wacky World Land. Oh, it's Happy World Land. You're right. Happy
World Land. I like it.
So we have a at one point in the movie, we have where Plucky has a map and he points out where they are in the map. It's okay. So I don't know where the Acme Acres is. Be like, obviously it's somewhere around like Connecticut or something like that.
Acme Acres, I think it's on the West Coast.
Is located for plot convenience.
I mean,
just like
Buster
Springfield
was able
and the
to
Simpsons.
do that tsunami off of Hawaii, so it has to be on the West Coast.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, because they're going to what looks like the Atlantic.
Well, let's be honest. The same river left Acme Acres and went to either Louisiana or Florida. I still say it's Louisiana.
The fact that we're having this conversation,
doesn't matter. It's not intended to be an actual place.
I'm aware.
We're spending way too much time on it.
But like my point is more the logic of how far, because we have where the Hamptons go to their destination. It takes them 4 months. Takes them 4 months to 2 months back, 2 months there, and 2 months back.
Summer vacations are usually only 3 months.
Yes, but we're talking about the continent of the United States here, people. It doesn't take that long to get across this country.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying it's probably 3 months is how long it took, because that's normally how long a summer vacation is.
But
I agree, but it's way too long for them to do this.
That's just time dilation and comic and what's good for the joke.
I'm aware, but I'm just like, good night. This is taking too long.
I mean, if you really want to fight it, the fact that the Plucky having to sit through the slideshow took 3 days, and yet they're still Buster and Babs are still in the mine shaft when we cut back to them. So.
Possibly, yeah. It's just be like, I don't know. That drove me, even as a kid, that kind of drove me crazy. I was like, wait, this is taking too long because I know how big this country is. It's not that big.
So it sounds like you and Ashley have the similar problem of finding it unbelievable. But if you were to both ask the video itself, it would respond,
"Yeah, well, I am pretty unbelievable."
Yep.
Fair.
Wow. All right. Well, as believable or unbelievable as it might be, Paul, what is your tragic maker for this film?
All right. My tragic maker is the simple fact that the Roadrunner got ran over, because he was a favorite character of mine.
What?
It absolutely infuriated me then. Like, what's the reason behind it? One of my favorite characters.
Paul, this is never a real one. This can't be your real tragic maker.
It is. It's the worst thing about this video is that the Roadrunner got ran over. No, it never happened.
That is really disrespectful to the character, because the character's supposed to get off scot-free every time.
Right.
Which I hate. The totally Coyotes should get him eventually.
No.
If it makes you feel any better, in real life, Coyotes are faster than Roadrunners.
True.
That does make me feel better.
And the Coyote has caught the Roadrunner before.
Yes.
But for him to get run over, that's too far. No.
All right. Okay, interesting.
Well, Pepe Le Pew once had a cat fall in love with him. That didn't mean it turned out good for him.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, now that we've entered all our trajectories into the firing computer, as surprising as some of them are, let's, Alice, you have a firing solution for us.
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo armed and ready to fire on your mark.
All right. Do we rate Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation, a classic? We'd recommend anyone go see it, whether or not you've seen it before. A nostalgic, it's definitely worth watching if you remember watching it as a kid or you've seen it before and you remember enjoying it. Yeah, check it out again. You'll have a fun time. But if you've never seen it before, don't spend your time to watch it now. Or do we rate it a tragic? It's not worth anyone's time today. If you've never seen it before, keep it that way. And if you have seen it before, don't sully any good memories you have of it with a rewatch. Ashley, let's begin with you. You had predicted nostalgic. Where did it end up for you?
It stayed in its lane and it ended nostalgic.
Nostalgic.
I enjoyed it as a kid. I enjoyed it now, but there are some asterisks for sure.
All right. Very fair. Drew, you likewise rated nostalgic or predicted nostalgic. What was your final rating?
As I've stated on this show last couple times, Star Trek V: The Final Frontier is my brown standard, and when determining whether a movie is good or bad, I ask the question, is this better or worse than Star Trek V: The Final Frontier? Because it is better than Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, but it's still not a great film. I rate it nostalgic.
Nostalgic. All right.
Yes, I did scientificness on this.
You have a rating scale.
Jacob, how about you? You had predicted
I am,
also nostalgic. Where did it end up for you?
I am at a crossroads with this movie.
Tragic. Okay, we can continue.
Kind of like when the escaping lions met the pig family on the road.
Yeah, you have this collision going on. So I mean, like, I have this pull towards it's got a classic feel to it, but at the same time it's nostalgic. So it's kind of a hybridization of the two.
Okay. But you can't. That can't be your rating. You have to pick one.
Pick.
Yeah, I know. It's
coin
you got to
flip.
pick one. It's hard. So it's hard to be like. I would love for people to see it, but it's more like, it's nostalgia.
So
I guess
classic. You'd recommend it to anybody to check it out, even though it has a nostalgic flavor to it.
Yeah, that's what I'd be like.
Classic.
Yeah, it's a classic maker.
No, I think you're trying to say tragic. Like you really think that this is unreserved for.
Don't put words in my mouth, Roy.
Sorry, Francisco. That's going to be what you say.
So nostalgic, is that what you're saying? Or classic, Jacob?
Womp womp.
Yes. You can go watch it.
Classic.
If you don't tell me, I'm going to put tragic down for you. So which one?
Told you.
Classic. Okay. Well, I was waiting for. I said both, and you said yes, and I was like, no, give me one. Okay, so classic. Got it. Okay.
Classic.
Thank you.
Classically nostalgic.
Now, before we get to me and Paul's ratings, we like to go to our reflex capacitors, and you guys get to vote on these movies as well. And I believe it was all right. And our reflex capacitors this time, thanks to Bobo, rated this movie a nostalgic as well. So we have 3 nostalgics and 1 classic so far. Now we'll go to me and Paul. What do you rate?
All
Paul?
right, Francisco, we could do this. We could potentially tie this with classics.
Francisco won't be on board with you, Paul. Calling it now based on my husband's expression. Don't disappoint.
I already did write it down.
Convenience to a plot hole.
Paul?
Yeah.
What's your rating? You had predicted classic.
If you couldn't tell, I'd recommend this to anybody still. So it's a classic.
Really?
Absolutely. Now you may not like it, like it was stated before. It's not everybody's sense of humor, but at least I'd recommend you check it out.
All right, guys. So I predicted tragic. I'm super torn. I wrote down nostalgic, but I don't know. As I'm reliving that whole Plucky Hampton car ride, and that's one of the main plot points, I don't know if the rest saves it. I like a lot of the rest of it, and it's funny. I enjoyed a lot of the rest. I'll leave that nostalgic.
I was about to say, does it matter? It's nostalgic anyway.
Yeah. welcome
if
to
I
the
had
crowd.
rated classic, we would have been classic, but
No, but that's not one of the options.
Nope.
Even if you rated it tragic, is what I'm saying. It's still disputed nostalgic.
Yeah.
I
Pick
see
your
what you're saying.
poison. Are you with Team Nostalgic?
I'm team nostalgic. Yeah.
Hey.
Woo!
So no tragics this time, Tiny Toons, but
Your
watch
heart
yourself.
grew one size.
Narrow. It's narrowly not a tragic.
You could say on average, this is how we felt.
Ain't half good either.
I guess. But according to the Retro Rewind podcast, we rate Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation, a disputed nostalgic film. If you remember liking it, watching it before, check it out again. But if you may not like it if you've only seen it if you're only watching it for the first time. But now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
Calm sat online, awaiting incoming transmissions.
Feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1992 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflex capacitors, namely Deborah Powers, Geek Devotions, Drew of the Cellcast. Oh, you're right here.
Hey!
Ashley Ruiz, you're here too. Woo-hoo. Kennethan, Fabulous Lomax, That's Our Bobo, D. Tungsten, Daryl Hafner, Cool Deluxe, Dustin, He's a Big Deal Warford, Flux, Redeemed Otaku, in addition to 2 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help keep us fun and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to start.
This stream here is sponsored by PaulJPowers.com. It's really what's up, Doc.
And I just realized me playing that sound clip is very much the equivalent of
Kiss yourself, kiss yourself, kiss yourself.
But anyway, Francisco, are there some ways to show the support of the show without sending us a little money to help the show along?
Yes, indeed, Paul. If you probably enjoyed this episode if you made it this far. So if you aren't driving, tap the share icon in your podcast player for this episode and send it to a friend saying, I know you like Tiny Toons or Tiny Toon Adventures or How I Spent Your Vacation. So I thought you would like this podcast on it.
Cool. And they'll thank you for it.
Indeed.
And speaking of thanking people, we want to give a big loony toony adventure-y hug.
Something like that.
Ashley, Drew, and Jacob for supporting us with their thoughts about Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation. And since we like to go in alphabetical order, we'll start with Ashley. If people wanted to find more about you online without being, too stalkerish, where
Find me at the platform formerly known as Twitter at Ashley Ruiz 1186. I tweet about all things faith and fandom.
Thank you. And Drew, what do you have going on that people should check out?
Well, Jacob and I do have a podcast called The Cellcast, where we review animated movies and television shows. And we have indeed reviewed Tiny Toon Adventures, How I Spent My Vacation about 8 months ago. So you can go check out that episode. And we'll be we're taking this week off, at least the week we're recording this. But we'll be back here in a couple weeks with Muppet Treasure Island. So join us for that. And we are working our way through Batman the Animated Series right now. You can also follow me on most Tuesday nights where I'm playing through different video games, though Untangling Kingdom Hearts is rebooted and coming back. So keep an eye out for that.
Cool.
Awesome.
And Jacob, what do you have going on and where can people find you?
You can find me primarily on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. If you want to follow my art, my art adventure, you can follow me on Facebook at Like an Artist. Liking like lycanthropy, because it transforms into a wolf.
And he barks like a dog.
I bark like a dog because I have Tourette's disorder. That's part of it. But you can also find me on like all the other socials under that same moniker. You can also follow me on Patreon under Like an Artist. And if you want to follow me whenever I do stream on Twitch is under Like an Artist 82. Whenever most of the time I'll try to do it on Mondays where I'm trying to draw or paint something. So if you want to follow me there, I'm more than welcome to have you come.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ashley, Drew, Jacob. my awesome, not so tiny friend Paul, and all your Rewinders new and old for another fun voyage. We also want to thank Alutrick for enhancing our music. Find him at alutrick.bandcamp.com or youtube.com/@Alutrick. That's spelled ALLOOUTRICK, then the number 8266 for the YouTube. So thank you so much to him.
Speaking of websites, I am pauljpowers.com. You can find out what I've been up to lately with all my social media links. Yeah. So pauljpowers.com.
Okay. You can find me on our Discord for show announcements or just to say hi. Join us there or find the link to at retrorewindpodcast.com/Discord.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box, a curated collection of podcasts, videos, and articles that will provide you a balanced meal of content. You will find culture celebrated for its past and future, satirized for its extremes, explored in study, and created anew in story. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
And as the Safari announcer just said, we are now part of Culture Box Media Network. Find all the shows unpacking truth through story, comedy, and geekery at culturebox.media.
Thank you, EXO, and thank you for listening. We pray you are more joyful today than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we got to catch you all for our next adventure on the Retro Rewind podcast.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to base to await next mission.
Whoa! That was fun.
I'll say. Now let's go home. Okay, Mom. Don't forget the ride.